Hey, all you marble heads and all you people wandering the internet. This is week 13. Video for the 20th of October 2021. And I would ask you if you remember our conversation a while back about the decision I needed to make. Well, coming up today is going to be the answer. Thank you for those of you who have reached out either by DM or some other way to kind of ask what was going on. I appreciate that. And I want to welcome you to Living for All the Marbles. Today, we are, like I said, in week 13. And the first thing that we got to do is we got to pull a marble and add it here. And let's talk about this week. First of all, if you're interested in this journey that we're taking, which is really about accountability and encouraging other people as well as living a legacy, then please hit the like, the share, the thumbs up, whatever you got to do. Share this video, and if it'll encourage somebody, we'd appreciate that. So this time, I want to talk a little bit about family. You know, part of this is to me to follow my family or my personal vision for my life. A lot of that involves, you know, family as well as other things. But, you know, we just had one of my grandson's birthday. For those of you who don't know, we have 11 grandchildren. And, you know, it's really interesting and challenging sometimes for us, and I'm sure for them, is that there's so many different schedules and so many things going on in their lives. And now we have such a great ability to be able to travel and move and work in different areas, especially true if you're in some place like the military or something where you're always moving. But it's a challenge to see your family. It's a challenge sometimes to make birthdays. It's, you know, we've gone times where, except for birthdays, we don't see our grandkids. You know, you literally maybe want to have them come down for a week or two in the summer, but there's sports and all these other things. And it's really interesting for me because when I look back on my own time in the military, I would like to have had my kids spend more time to know my parents and some of the other people in my family. But we live so far away, sometimes I only got to see them once or twice a year. And now my sons are not in the military anymore, but there's just, you know, lives fill up. And I wonder sometimes if we really shouldn't rethink that and understand the value of being able to spend some time with them and not only learn from them, because you will from your grandkids, but also to be able to educate them and teach them and be there for them for things that they may not want to talk to anybody else about. So it just made me think about that. So I would encourage all of you to really think about what you want it to be. I don't want any of you to get to the end of your life and have that regret of, you know, I wish I'd have spent more time, you know, with them. Or I wish I'd have exposed, you know, my kids more. It's just something to think about because when you look long term, they're your legacy. And they should know what you're about. You should know what they're about, and you should make sure that the things that are important to you are shared with them so they can make a judgment about carrying those things on. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. I also did something this week that I haven't done ever, and I'm looking at hiring a financial advisor. Now, contrary to popular belief, you don't have to have a lot of money to have a financial advisor because there's a lot of things going on that, you know, we're really not sure about. Things going on with markets and gas and the Forex trading, you know, the foreign exchange, currency exchange trading, and, you know, cryptocurrency and exchange traded funds and stocks and bonds and all this other stuff. So I've decided that I need to talk to somebody who knows more about it than I do. And, you know, I don't even know if it'll be worth it, but I'm guessing it will. So I would encourage you, one of the biggest challenges, you know, a lot of very wealthy people keep the money that they have because they get really good advice. And a lot of times, some people who don't make a lot of money think that they can't afford that advice. And you come to find out that ignorance is a lot cheaper than the education. So, you know, I'm going to look into it. I encourage you to do it because part of my vision is to look at my finances and make sure that, you know, I kind of understand, you know, am I managing right? Am I getting the right advice? And if something happens to me, is there going to be somebody there who is going to be able to advise Bridget, somebody who really knows the market, advise my sons if that needs to be. So again, something to think about. We also had the opportunity this week to go to a place called Limoncello on the Eastern Shore. Little Italian restaurant in a storefront. Really great food, great service over in St. Michael's on Talbot Street, South Talbot Street. So I don't know if you guys are Marylanders, but if you have a chance to go over there, we really been there a couple of times. Every time, food's been excellent, and the service is great. Friendly place, not fancy, but really nice. So we really enjoyed that. So I'd encourage you. And then something else happened this week. I have a friend who's getting ready to retire within the next year. And, I do a little Elvis stuff for fun. And so she has asked me to do her retirement. And, she knows who she is and her friends know. But it was interesting because she had mentioned something to another fella at work. Now, I won't mention this guy's name or his full name. If I mention anything. But the cool thing about it is this guy is like a superb guitarist. And he was actually in an Elvis tribute band. And he called me up and he said, hey, I'd love to play acoustic, for all or part of your set if you would like. So I just thought that was awesome because this guy, he's really a first-class guitarist, a guy that I've asked a lot of questions to because, I'm just a fiddler, a guy who knows a few chords. But I think it's really cool that he offered and that we're going to be able to do that. So he gave me a couple of song suggestions. So, it's kind of a good thing to reach out. I would never have thought that he would have wanted to do it because, this guy really is a great guitarist. But I'm just delighted that he's decided to do that. So I'm looking forward to it. And then the last thing this week is the decision. Man, if you remember, I literally was getting ready to retire for the final time. And I was offered another position, a position that I had been doing a lot of volunteer work for and was something that was near and dear to my heart. But when I wrote my vision, taking a job doing this, wasn't part of it. And so the big challenge for me was, is this something that I should modify my life's vision for? Was it something that God wanted me to do that really expected me to participate in and that I could add value? And as you know, I sought a lot of counsel. So the thing is that, have you ever had one of those conversations with yourself where it's, yeah, this is good. No, it's bad. Yes, do it. No, don't do it. Dive in. No, back off. So I think we have those conversations with ourselves sometimes, and it's difficult to know exactly what to do. And if you're not a person of faith and you're not looking for what you believe God wants you to do, you want to know what's good for you. You want to know, is this the best thing for my family? Is this the best thing for my time? Does this vocation interfere with my avocation? So those are the kind of things that I was thinking about because I'm retired. And as I told you, I sought friends and I'm part of a mastermind. And there was a lot of talk about, well, this wasn't in your vision, so you shouldn't do it. And others were, well, maybe you should. And then people were sharing scriptures with me that could actually be used either way, could support either side of the decision. And then people would, give me their impressions about their feelings about whether I was qualified. And most of that was very positive, or all of that was very positive, actually. But the key was, is it the right thing to do? Because, as you're young, you trade, time for money. But as you get older, you're really interested in, trading money for time because you're thinking about, how much do I have left and how mobile will I be during all that time? So, these are really life challenges that we've all got to deal with. So let me tell you where we ended up. I did not have a clear heart to change my vision. Even though there was a lot of encouragement, I did not have a clear heart to do that. And nobody that I spoke to who had a word for me thought that the word supported one decision or the other. They just said, I was told to share this with you. So what that led me to believe, I don't believe God's ever late. And so it led us to a different area. So I have assumed the position because the individual who was there had to leave. So I have assumed a position temporarily while we give the organization and myself the opportunity to really seek and see if there is someone else. So we agree on the vision going forward and the role and the supporting pieces. So whatever I do in this position will continue if I'm not the person who continues in it. and it'll continue with the next person because the leadership of the church has agreed with this path. So anybody who comes in to interview will be briefed on it. So the idea here is that, sometimes the answer isn't always clear. So I guess it's not time for a positive yes or no. We're going to revisit this again after the first of the year. But I wanted to encourage you that sometimes, some people say that God's in a still small voice, and sometimes you hear him in the thunder, and sometimes it immediately resonates with you, but sometimes it doesn't. And maybe the right thing to do is just to wait and for the right answer. Now, in this case, we had to make a decision by a certain day in order for the individual to leave. And when the people doing the selection, the individual came to me and said, would you consider doing it part-time? I said, give me a chance to pray on it, and I did. And the idea here is that, I feel that, this is kind of a busy time of year coming toward the holidays. We need somebody in the position, and I've been working it with the leader that was in place for a while. So I'm completely okay with doing this for a couple of months, and it won't interfere with me doing, living for all the marbles, which is something that I'm kind of passionate about. So that's kind of where we are. So I guess the lessons learned are, first of all, in the multitude of counselors is safety. And second of all, sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no, sometimes the answer is wait. I think Isaiah, it says, those that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as of eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. So it was followed up by somebody saying, Lord, teach me to wait. So I guess that's kind of the issue here, is that you want to, if you're making decisions for your life, make the clear decision. If you don't know what clarity is at that time, then wait. And I remember reading in Colin Powell's book once, he said, don't make a decision until you have to. And when you do, if you got 70% of the information, that's normally enough. And I think that's true. Because, waiting for that last 30% when it probably will not make a difference is really sometimes to your detriment. So there you go. I'm there temporarily until after the first of the year. That's the decision. If my vision is to change and that impression is made upon me, I will. But the other key here is that I did not act contrary to my vision. When I sat down and spent the time to think through it, decide what I wanted, looked at when I wanted it, that was a deliberate process that I went through. And so changing that doesn't happen without clear desire on my part or clear direction in my life. So that's, I think, the big lesson. You stick to the vision unless you're clear that that vision needs to change. Visions can change, but you wait until it does. So anyway, as you know by now, I really appreciate you being here. I certainly hope that you're getting value out of this and that you'll share it with others. But until then, I want you to remember to live intentionally and finish strong. God bless. See you next week.